are back. Welcome back to the What's Next podcast. Today we've got an amazing guest, Mr. Ryan Hopkins. Ryan started a small business here right in Monterey, and it's a lavender. Tell me what the name of the company is. Lavender.
We're Lavender Creek.
Creek, yeah, that's what it was. How you doing today, my friend?
Good.
Yeah, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So, what have you been doing?
Yeah, pretty busy actually. I've been working on Lavender Creek for a few years now, and so we're pretty busy, but we're still a really small team. We're a husband and wife team.
Tell me where you started. Take me from the beginning there. Where did you? You're a farmer. You grow the lavender, or you buy it, or tell me a little bit about how you started that.
Sure. So actually, my wife and business partner, Myriah, we're both business professionals. That's our background. Her background is accounting and finance.
Okay.
I'm business-to-business sales. Neither one of us had an agricultural background.
Oh, wow.
And so we wanted to build a company together, and we were living in Los Angeles, but my parents live here in the Monterey Bay area.
Okay.
And so I'm pretty well familiar with the area. So we got married up here on Carmel Valley Road, and we just wanted to start a family, build a business, and realize that lavender was going to be of interest to us. My wife really liked essential oils. I wanted to do something in agriculture, and we just found this property way out back in Arroyo Seco on Carmel Valley Road.
Oh, cool.
And so a really beautiful property. There's a creek flowing through it, Piney Creek. And so we're called Lavender Creek. And we chose lavender because it's pretty easy to grow.
Okay, sure,
it's really well suited for California. It's drought resistant.
Is it?
Pest resistant.
Yeah.
Overwatering it's probably the easiest way to kill your lavender. Yeah. So we felt like, hey, I probably won't mess that up. Sounds like
Can't do that in California.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. So we started with the lavender farm. We put in about 4,200 plants. We're off the grid. We have a solar panel that pumps up the well water, and it's an English lavender. And so English lavender, there's French lavender and Spanish lavender. English lavender has a softer smell. It's probably the more calming lavender. It's also a good edible culinary variety as well. And we really thought we were going to do a lot with culinary lavender. And, as things go and the business kind of pivots as things change and you react. So we definitely kind of have pivoted away from culinary lavender.
Okay.
But that was the initial idea.
I see, right. I didn't know it was edible.
Yeah.
I mean, being a massage therapist, I know about the essential oils and all that type of thing, and lavender smelling. Tell me something about the products. What did you start with?
So
I know you talked about, I think maybe towels, and I think there was maybe little pillows or something that were. Where did you start?
Well, initially we had we put dried culinary lavender on Amazon.com.
Oh, just raw.
Basically,
dried.
Just dried.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so we started there, and actually our story, we didn't really get to our lavender towels until more recently. We were focusing on the dried lavender. Then we wanted to put together like a catalog of like some bath and beauty type products, like creams and lotions. Sure. And it's kind of a funny story. It was right in the beginning. We had just come out with this like catalog of items, and we were having our second baby here in Monterey at Chomp, the community hospital. And my wife, as she was in labor, she said, well, let's bring samples for the hospital. And I thought, oh my gosh, you're really multitasking. I was a lot more nervous. We got to go. And so, no, but it worked out really well. The hospital, Chomp, loved it. We showed them, of course, the samples, and they said they're going to stock this in the gift store. And every patient that has a baby at Chomp, they get gifted with a tote bag with some gifts.
Oh, sure.
And they started including some of our products, like some of our soaps and other items. I think some bath salts as well. And so now they've been doing this for about 2.5 years. They've been gifting our products out.
Yeah.
And so that kind of really moved us away from this idea of culinary lavender and kind of pursuing more, essential oils and healthcare. And so today we really focus on using lavender to provide comfort, kind of like wellness even, and particularly in healthcare.
So you put it in soaps too. So you've got all kinds of products. You got so the towels didn't come along till just recently.
About a year ago.
How long you been doing this now?
A few years now.
A few, like
Yeah.
3, 4? Or?
Yeah, we planted in 21.
Oh, okay, a little bit
Yeah.
ago. Okay, so 4 years ago.
So we've had, I think we've had a couple of harvests now.
Yeah.
And so lavender can live for, 7, 10 plus years. It's a lot like grapes.
The plant itself, and
Yes.
it'll just keep creating the flowers.
Right. It's perennial. So we
Right.
harvest in June. It goes dormant in the winter, and then it wakes back up again in spring, and we do it all over again.
Yeah.
And so we still use the dried lavender, not so much for culinary anymore, but for like sachets, eye pillows, relaxing eye pillows.
What's a sachet? I don't know what that is.
It's like the little, kind of like a little organza bag with dried, like potpourri type.
I see. Okay.
And you
sure.
can put it in your bedroom and your pillows. It smells nice. It's relaxing.
Right.
It's also a pest repellent. It's supposed to.
Oh, no kidding.
Lavenders can keep away mosquitoes and it's supposed to keep away, all kinds of pests. And
Right. Right.
But yeah, so we have a catalog of about a dozen items. A lot of it we're just kind of exploring. It's kind of like throwing spaghetti against the
Sure.
wall and seeing what
Right.
sticks. So
And double down on that. That sticks.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
That's exactly it. So a lot of experimenting.
Yeah. So it seems like you're getting the product out to different, whether it be a hospital, whether it be a relaxation, or what type of venues are you trying to find?
Yeah.
Obviously, baby care, obviously, in the hospital, and prenatal and all that kind of thing. That's very comfort. And what else would you do?
Yeah, so we really now that we've launched our lavender towels, which
Yeah.
are these little cotton towels, they're individually wrapped, so they're hygienic for hospitals.
Okay.
We actually are using those towels to provide comfort to a lot of patients, and also in elderly care.
Okay. Sure.
Also, though, for the caretakers, for the nurses, employee wellness initiatives, different healthcare organizations will have like a lavender room or a tranquility room or just like a Zen den, I've heard it described as. And they're
Right.
just areas, not like a break room, but more of an area for staff to recharge,
I see.
especially if something really draining has happened.
A safe space.
What's that?
A safe space or
Yes.
something like that, eh?
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're also working in hospitality. We've had hotels.
Oh, that's a
and
great
spas.
idea. Yeah.
Fitness. We have,
Right.
some fitness studios in Florida and Virginia ordering from us now.
Yeah.
And they're really cool. They'll have like a little mini fridge and they'll stock the towels in there with the mini fridge so that they're nice and chilled. And then at the end of their, fitness session, all the clients get a chilled towel. So
Oh, that's
it makes a really
fantastic
good impression.
idea.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I was picturing it heated
and heated too.
because it was probably more
Yes.
aromatic, I guess is the word I'm looking for, right?
And probably more comforting too. So
Yeah.
we do
But
both
cold
heated
after a
and
workout?
chilled. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
We also work with HR departments for, cities, we are also working with marketing organizations, like the destination marketing, for tourism. And
Yeah.
just a pretty wide variety. That those towels are really versatile. They're pretty inexpensive, and so there's lots of ways to use them.
right. That's why I love talking to people that do small business, man. It's so interesting. It's like, where could I take my product? And it's just a brainstorm. Who would want it? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Cruise ships, Airbnbs.
Yeah. We do.
What else? What else can we do?
Yeah.
Right. It's just, working products in, like you say, just see which one's really rocking and,
Right.
So
Yeah, like you said, we're definitely kind of doubling down on
Yeah,
the
yeah.
towels. The towels are really cool.
that's cool.
Yeah.
How awesome. I was, I looked you up a little bit and there's some really neat articles about you and your wife. KSBW, I think, did something really nice.
Yes.
How about that? That's huge.
Yeah, I mean, we're really, really appreciative.
Yeah.
Of that. It's such great exposure. They were really supportive, and
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate that. They covered a story about how we've partnered with the Monterey Peninsula Quilters Guild in Pacific Grove.
Quilters Guild.
Yeah, they had this outreach program where they've been making, I think for years now, they've been making like quilts and different comfort care items, and they donate them to our hospitals and the VNA for our patients that are going through challenging treatments.
Yeah.
And last summer, we started donating pounds and pounds of our lavender for them to use in the eye pillows that they donate for our patients. And so KSVW came out to the lavender field, and you know, we're way out there. We're all the way at the east end of Carmel Valley Road, way back in Arroyo Seco. It's real hot, real pretty back there. And they came out and they did a story there and looked at the eye pillows, and it was really awesome of them to cover that.
So what's an eye pillow? Is that, I mean, pretty self-explanatory,
Yeah.
but it must have a little lavender sprinkled into it and sewed into it, or
correct. Yeah,
heat
just
it
like
up,
a pillow.
Or ice it or whatever. And...
Yeah, some organic flaxseed as well.
Oh,
so
right
you
on.
can heat it up.
Yeah.
You know, really more suited for yoga and relaxing, and but just a simple pillow.
Yeah, right. Who was the other one that King City what was it called?
The King City Rustler.
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 Yeah.
Rustler, I think. Yeah.
Because cattle, right? Yeah.
They've also covered. They're actually. I was just speaking with the editor, and I believe he's gonna cover some new news for us. We are really excited. You know, last year we introduced the lavender towels to almost 50 businesses.
Really?
And dozens of them were healthcare organizations and hospitals. Cool. And we were really just kind of doing the introductions kind of at the department level. And so individual departments would order and kind of test them out. And so through that process and all those samples that we sent out last year, we're really excited to know that 2 health systems here in California have ran the towels through their infection control units and have approved the towels for implementation throughout the system. And you know, they explained to me that was a milestone in itself.
Really?
For the, you know, to get that approval.
Sure.
You know, meaning, you know, I'm sure they were really scrutinized to make sure that they were safe and in terms of the production and hygiene.
Yeah.
You know, they wouldn't want for, you know, bacteria to get on a patient before surgery, for example. So they really, really scrutinize that through their infection control. It's quite a process, it sounds like. And so, the towels have been approved, and one system wants to focus on patient waiting areas, the concierge team, the surgery center. They explain that post-op, the patients will get our lavender towels for calming, for anxiety.
I wonder if I mean to cut you off, I wonder if lavender has an antibacterial type of a quality to it. Does it? Or?
It does.
Does it? Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
It does. Lavender's really interesting. You know, it's part of the mint family. And has, you know, antiseptic properties.
Yeah. Okay.
Mood boosting properties.
Really?
And studies have shown that it helps with sleep as well.
Nice.
And so, you know, and so that's interesting how I wonder how that works out with the test there and running it through infection control. But at either way, the other system wants to focus on employee wellness. And so they described on each of their hospital floors, there's like a room for staff. And so they'll be putting in, we have towel warmers that go with the towels. They'll be putting in the towel warmers and then stocking the towels for staff, for the healthcare staff, you know, kind of basically taking care of the caretakers.
Right.
And so we're really excited now to kind of grow in that direction and to provide that value, especially keeping caretakers in mind and everything that they do.
Right.
And how difficult that job is. And, you know, you read about burnout and just the hours that you know, these staff are going through. And so we're definitely excited to kind of support that.
And being around sickness just all the time.
Yeah.
You know, whether you're susceptible to it or if it just brings your mood down.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know, people are usually bummed out when they're in hospitals. So it'd be a great place for mood altering.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Nice. So how many acres do you work on now? Are you planning on expanding it? Obviously, it sounds like your circle is moving out. You've got some health places over an hour away from here, I think you said last time I talked to you. So your circle is growing. So that's fantastic.
Oh, yeah. You know, there's kind of 2, I guess, divisions to Lavender Creek. There is the wellness brand, and working with these hospitals.
Uh-huh.
And then there's the lavender field itself. And really my wife has always wanted that to be some kind of small venue. And so that's taking us longer to figure out. And, but we do want to put in, you know, and even I was thinking maybe it could be like a small wellness retreat. She
There
was
you go.
thinking small weddings. This is
I was
further
thinking
down the line.
weddings.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. In the lavender fields. Wow, that'd be beautiful.
And so we're growing about 2 acres of lavender right now. But the property, there's a lot of room to grow. I mean, there's a lot of oak trees in the area too.
Yeah.
But there's down by the creek, it's really nice and peaceful. And then on the other side of Carmel Valley Road is the lavender. And we have about 4 more acres that we want to put in the bigger French lavenders.
I see, right.
And so we can have a different variety.
Right.
That's also nice because they bloom at different times.
Oh,
and
no
so if you're
kidding.
having people come out,
Right.
you know, you've kind of extended your season.
Exactly what I was thinking.
Right.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that's something to look forward to. And we definitely want to pursue that as well.
Is that a different product that you would use with the French lavender as opposed to the other one? You said it was more aromatic.
It could be the benefits to the French lavender is that they produce like 4 or 5 times more oil.
I see.
It is a
Oil.
bit more invigorating.
Okay.
And so maybe not as calming as English lavender.
Yeah.
But it smells beautiful. I mean, it's an amazing.
Right.
It's French lavender smells amazing.
So you are actually extracting the oils?
Yes.
And that's how you're doing the soaps? You're not just grinding up the flour and putting it in there?
No,
you're actually extracting the oil from it and putting that in.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
We distill it's quite the process. It takes days. You wait for the flowers to all open up, and then you just harvest them, you cut them, and if you've ever seen like a distillation setup, they kind of look like their copper tubes remind me of like a moonshine.
Yeah, an old moonshine.
Yeah, we don't use that. We actually
that's what it is. We're doing lavender.
We have a partner who's got this huge steel drum.
Yeah.
It's a much bigger setup,
right?
And it can accommodate because we just. The lavender is it's quite a bit of lavender. Even at just 2 acres, it takes days to distill, and you just run. Basically, you put all the lavender together in a big drum, and you run steamed water through, or steam through it, I should say. And what happens is the lavender kind of the oil and lavender water, those liquids that were in the lavender kind of travel through, and they separate. And then you can separate the oil out, which floats on the top. And then the byproduct to the distillation process is hydrosol, which is like flower water, which in itself is kind of a really cool thing. It carries some of the properties that lavender has. It smells really good. It's kind of like a mist, a linen spray.
Right.
Yeah. And that smells really cool too.
So you can sell that separately.
You could, yes. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. How about that?
Keep
that and... Is that about shelf life on it, or?
I think, we
got more research to do.
Yeah. Dried lavender keeps for about 2 years. It'll stay fragrant for a couple of years.
Wow.
Hydrosol in itself, we keep it refrigerated. I'm not sure what the shelf life is on that. We actually don't sell ours. We actually keep it to ourselves.
Sure. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that. Right.
Yeah. It smells really nice. Our kids love it.
Yeah.
It's kind of relaxing. It smells good.
Right. I've seen... sometimes I'll sell some like facial products here at the massage studio. And there was one, a lavender facial. It was like a gel, and it was, people loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was firming, or I don't know exactly what it did, but it's a neat product.
I've even read that lavender, interestingly, going back to like medicinal uses, even helps with wound healing.
Really?
I've read. And probably those antiseptic properties are helpful, but it's said to help, with wound healing.
Yeah. I think back in the old days, the surgeons used to have those goofy looking masks.
Yeah.
That looked like a bird's beak.
Right.
And they would stuff it full of lavender.
Oh, interesting.
In case, if they're working on gangrene, or if they're taking off a leg and something's really stinky or whatever, that's how they did it. They would take those and stuff that thing full of
that's
lavender
really
and all
interesting.
kinds of different things, so they could just wear it on their face like that.
I bet.
And so, it's another thing. So I had never thought about it being antibacterial.
Yeah.
So maybe that was quality they didn't even know.
Right.
Right. So what are you doing with the rosemary? You said you were doing some rosemary too. Is that?
Oh, we just have some rosemary in our soaps.
I see. You just buy the oils.
We're just sourcing.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you're not trying to do that.
No, we were trying to keep it kind of focused and simple, and yet we somehow you managed to create so much work for yourself.
Exactly.
Even trying to be as disciplined as possible.
I went to school for massage, and of course we went through different courses through the oils. But I've always just tried to stay away from them as much as I can because I just never know who's going to be allergic to what.
That's a really good point.
Is that a problem? Or?
You know what? I going into this, not knowing what I know now, I wouldn't have thought there would be. I just thought everyone loved lavender. Right. But I think there's two types of allergies. You can be allergic to the pollen.
I see.
And so you'll just sneeze. I think I'm a little bit allergic to the pollen, ironically. And then you can be allergic to the oil as well. And so I think those are two separate allergies.
I see, right.
And through studying essential oils in healthcare, that plays a really important role. And it's one of the reasons why having individually wrapped lavender towels is so important, because I've read about sensitivities to just multiple chemicals, and there's a rise in this sensitivity, and so something like lavender could probably trigger that as well, and it causes headaches and different things like that. So you don't want to be broad diffusing lavender throughout a hospital, even though it sounds like it could be helpful, because there are allergies and these rising sensitivities to different chemicals. And so again, the towels are pre-packed and they're individually wrapped, so that helps with that. And I think that's a good thing to bring up, and something I've learned.
Sure. Yeah. We were talking about, what were we talking about? Kind of like a what is it now? Where you go in front of investors. What would you say? What were you saying? The otter?
A pitch contest.
A pitch contest.
Yes.
That's what it was. Okay.
Right.
Shark Tank is what I was thinking.
Right.
Kind of a Shark Tank kind of thing.
Yes.
But they called it an otter tank or something.
Well, right.
Tell me about that. That's fantastic.
So this was really awesome. When we first were getting started, we were working, of course, with the SBDC, which is the Small Business Development Center.
Sure.
And we had a kind of like a mentor or counselor there. He's great, and he recommended that we connect with the CSUMB, and their School of Business runs. It's kind of like an otter tank. They call it the Startup Challenge. It's the Startup Monterey Bay, and it's a great experience if you're working on a business. If you're serious about working on a business, you go through all these different workshops, and they're helping you build your business plan, and you're practicing pitching. And if you're serious, you're gonna at some point you're gonna need to be able to speak comfortably about your business and to communicate with investors.
Right.
And so this was kind of like a crash course into that. There was courses, and of course they have all their professors there, and of course, at the end of all the training, you do go through a pitch contest. There's cameras, there's judges. And so, we went through the competition. We ended up winning the runner-up prize. And that was in the main venture division. And I think in addition to the actual experience and just, having to make sure we study and know our material and research everything, it was great for networking too. And
I bet.
We still, we still communicate with some of the other entrepreneurs that were in that program. We communicate a lot with CSUMB and those professors. We've even worked through CSUMB to help us find help, like part-time employees. We do farmers markets, and so we needed help, and so we've hired CSUMB students as well.
Yeah, wow. Well, I started doing the farm markets when I first got here to California, with the massage chair and that kind of thing. And it was interesting. I really picked up a lot of new clients. I just worked around the corner, and they had the farm market right there in Salinas.
Okay, yeah.
And I was up in the building just around the corner there, and I picked up all kinds and I got to meet, all the people that were running the businesses around, and and the leaders of the community, and it was really neat.
It is. I mean, that's a great way to put it. I didn't realize, my background is business to business sales. And so
Sure.
I traveled all the conventions, the gift conventions
Oh
in
yeah.
Vegas and New
Sure,
York.
sure.
And so that was my training, was doing trade shows.
Sure.
I never thought about how a farmer's market is a lot like a trade show.
Kinda.
And you would be surprised. You meet a lot of people. I've met executives from our local hospitals,
Yeah.
and it's other business owners, and then of course the community. It's a great way to network with the community, and,
Right, right.
and a lot of our supporters come from the farmers markets.
Yeah. That's a great little spot. Yeah, met everybody. I met the mayor there, asked him to come over and do the ribbon cutting ceremony before I opened the new business. He came over and did it, and
That's
what a
awesome.
great guy.
That is
know, just making connections.
Yeah.
My tea company, they came in, walking, started talking to him about it, and they've been 10 years, they've been making all my mixed teas, and that's a fantastic
That's
little
cool.
spot to get started,
Yeah.
As a business.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a great one, People, you can maybe introduce people to massage or lavender products or whatever you're talking about that
Yeah.
wouldn't even know about it before,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
And I have stopped at a couple of soap vendors and asked them, let's get together and we could sell the soaps in the massage place because it's aromatic, may have lavender in it or whatever, So pick up more businesses there too.
It's great to collaborate.
Yeah,
For sure.
it's
Yeah.
fantastic,
That's
right.
one of my favorite parts, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah.
exactly. So what's next? That's the name of the show. What's next for you?
It's, I think when I think about the business and what's next, I think this year we're going to really kind of focus on healthcare and make that really the cornerstone of what we're doing. Now that we're getting such great feedback,
Sure.
we're shipping to health systems now. We've done at least introductions to health systems in California, Oregon, Texas, Georgia, Delaware, and I think Indiana's our newest, the newest state that we're shipping to. And again,
Right.
these are mostly just introductions, but
Sure.
it's just really encouraging for us and to think where we can go with that. And so I think I'm hoping to really work with our new health systems and seeing, how we can better partner with them.
Sure.
What feedback comes back now that they're really implementing the towels on a larger scale.
Right, right.
And just kind of, I want to really invest in that. Whether that's refining products, making new products, better products, and just really focusing on both the patient experience and taking care of caretakers.
Sure.
So I think that's a wonderful opportunity.
Yeah.
I think it really makes sense with lavender, and we'll kind of see how that grows. I mean, as the, I mean, everyone can use more stress relief, right?
Sure. Right, right. I was, of course, my mind's just thinking about the patients, and how many hospitals are in a system of hospitals. They could be everywhere, all over the country,
Yeah.
It's like, so, I mean, maybe the towels wouldn't work in a hectic area like an ER, but in acute rehab or in cardio or, or like you say, the prenatal or, delivery, labor and delivery,
Yeah.
So, yeah, it could go in all different parts of each hospital throughout their, whatever you call it.
Right. It's really interesting. There's a lot to learn.
Yeah.
Last year, I learned that if you've ever heard of, like, in the hospital code systems, like Code Blue is someone needs to get resuscitated.
Sure.
I learned that in 2008, I think it was a couple of hospitals, but Cleveland Clinic is one of them. They introduced Code Lavender. And that is, another code system for a rapid response. But in this case, I think it's mostly for healthcare staff, but it could be for patients and family members. But basically, something draining has happened. Let's say a patient died on in a certain department and everyone's down. They might call a Code Lavender, and a team will deploy that has like aromatherapy amenities, like our lavender towels. There'll be someone to speak kind of like uplifting words, or spiritual guidance, healthy snacks. And they even have code lavender carts that go around and kind of just to support the staff.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so, I mean, that was really interesting. I would
Yeah.
have never known that. And so it's just really fun to learn new things and to see how we can better partner.
Sure. Right. Yeah. That'd be fantastic. I think you really got something going after the caregiver.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good angle. That's one I wouldn't have thought of, but they need it probably more as much as
Right.
the patients themselves do.
Yeah. I feel like I can, we've been working so hard this year. I think I need to think of my own advice a little bit or use, we've just been going, and we have 2 little kids as well.
I was just thinking that something that I haven't heard you say specifically, but my mom just got out of a skilled nursing facility due to a broken hip, and thinking that would be an amazing place
Right.
to be able to target and be able to get in, things that would be helpful and calming, because one of the last things that's calming is a skilled nursing facility. The people that are in there don't want to be there.
Right.
And a lot of them are stuck or left, abandoned, whatever. And having these tools like that could make a really big difference.
Right. That's so interesting. I've been studying a little bit on how even it doesn't just have to be lavender essential oil, but apparently it could be like other lemon oils as well. But there was a doctor that I was listening to, and she was explaining how just the scent of essential oils can stimulate the appetite in dementia care patients.
No kidding.
Yeah. So.
Wow.
Lots of different interesting ways, but I mean, I totally agree about wanting to provide comfort in a facility like that. Definitely.
Right.
I agree. We've done a little bit like that. We've introduced our products to a few elderly care centers like that. But I'd like to do a lot more, because I totally agree. Like, let's make that as comfortable as possible. Right. So, but different cool angles to think about though with the appetite and stimulating that with essential oils too.
Yeah. It's another branch in the tree, man. Just another avenue to go down.
Yes.
Man, I think you're rocking, man. I'm proud of you. This is awesome.
Thank
you're
you.
taking it off,
Yeah, we
Taking off.
and it's, as we're talking about all the exciting and fun things, but
Oh, I know, right?
it's been a lot
Start
of
your
work.
own business someday. It'll be a blast.
It has
No, it's
been,
not.
yeah, it's quite a bit of work too. Yeah.
But 10-year overnight success, right?
Exactly.
Isn't there an album called that?
Yes.
10-year overnight success.
It totally makes sense to me now.
I know, right? I can relate with that.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we just hit the scene. No, not really. We've been working at this, toiling.
It's so right. Yeah.
How'd you find your wife?
Yeah,
Or how did she find you? I don't know.
So Myriah is a big reason why I'm able to do this.
Sure.
We met in LA. I'm from Southern California,
Okay.
but I also went to high school here in Monterey. I went to Monterey
Oh, did you?
in Pacific
okay.
Grove.
Oh,
You're
a homie.
I've gone back and forth. Really, I know the area pretty well. And so I actually went to UC Santa Cruz for a little bit. Actually went to the Air Force.
Oh, wow.
And then finished my degree at Cal State Long Beach. So
Okay.
Kind of jumped around.
Sure,
Kind
right.
of figure out what I was doing. And I was 19, when I went to the military.
Got to get some things under your belt, Military is probably amazing for a 19-year-old.
Yeah, it was good structure.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Round off all the sharp edges a little bit.
It was a good experience. Still fold my shirts in perfect squares.
Mounts a quarter off my bed when I leave. I'm good to go. All right.
But I ended up back in the LA area.
Did you?
I moved around, but
Yeah.
I stayed in Southern California until I met my wife. And so we just, we're different people. She's more of an introvert. She's really detail, oriented. She's actually really, really good with Excel, and she can code like those macro formulas
right.
and streamline reporting and accounting processes. And so she's really very technical in that sense.
Yeah,
But she's also very, has a lot of design that kind of a creator side to her as well. And so
Sure.
she'll work on product development and just the branding and the colors and everything.
Sure.
And so, so, we met in LA, and we just realized that we're a really good team together.
Yeah.
And
Well, she sounds like she's artistic, and she's very well,
very crafty,
the IT,
but very also really good with
Sure.
organization and numbers too. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what us men need, don't we? We know what we want. Just organize everything behind me. And
So that really works out.
what's the old saying? Behind every successful man is a woman rolling her eyes. Like, yeah, it was all you, bro. I'm familiar with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So it's really, I mean, that's exactly it. I mean, I couldn't have done it without her. She kind of really gives me the confidence to go out there, be the go-getter, go do things.
Right.
And if I mess it up,
She'll straighten it out.
yeah, she'll help me out. Yeah.
Go get the deal.
Yeah. Yes.
And then we'll fine tune it.
We'll
from
figure
there.
it.
Right,
Yes,
right.
exactly. It's been working out.
Right. My grandpa always used to tell me, sales is the best job you can ever have. You're on your own time for the most part. You can earn or lose as much money as you want, and you can make yourself rich in sales. Get in with a good program, a good, company or whatever. You're doing it on your own, but still the skill is still there.
Oh yeah.
You can just kind of float along the surface, or you can go cruise ships. I can do elderly care. I can do, just chase them all and do it all.
Yeah,
I'm stoked for you, man.
It's
This is
kind
so
of
cool.
how it's been. Yeah, I started actually in the toy industry, babies.
Tell me about that. What?
Yeah, it was.
That's a far reach from lavender, bro.
I know, and I was a pretty young guy. I didn't have any kids, and it was nursery products like night lights and sound soothers.
Right.
But what I learned is I was working.
Oh my God. Okay, so maybe it is related, bro.
Yeah, there's some tie-ins. Yeah,
know, right?
It's interesting.
That's funny.
But what I learned was how to communicate, how to listen.
Ah.
I started off with our independent, our retailers, our
Yeah.
independent mom and pop toy stores. And then towards the end, I was working with Target and Walmart.
Right.
But it's the same skill. You want to listen to your buyer, make sure you're addressing what they need.
Yeah.
And then trying to incorporate that into what you have to offer.
Sure.
As it's really much, it's a lot of talking and repetition, but it's really the skill is listening.
Right. Yeah.
And so, I worked in that for a while, and I ended up actually kind of right around the pandemic time, I started working for a medical supplies company. Ended up working with LA County and San Francisco County during the pandemic and supplying those essential supplies. And then most recently, before Lavender Creek, I was working with an urgent care, and we set up the COVID testing programs for about a dozen school districts here in California, including several here in Monterey County. And so they were more the operations, and I was more on the sales side. And so I would work with our school districts, and then they would essentially deploy hundreds of medical assistants and on a permanent basis in these school districts to help the school districts test the students during the pandemic. And I remember, some of these, what an overwhelming just task. I remember, working with some of these districts and, how are they going to tackle this issue with the COVID testing and all the testing that needed to get done. And so that was an amazing experience. And I kind of think that was on my mind when we wanted to, and kind of move towards healthcare and taking care of caretakers. And I got to see how difficult that was for all those medical assistants. They were getting COVID themselves half the time. It was just a lot of work. And so I got to see that kind of firsthand and fairly recently. So that's something that I keep in mind as well.
Yeah, right. Isn't that funny how you just take little things through life and you put them all together and go, oh, that'll work. Let's try that.
Yeah, it's before doing this, I didn't feel like I was a creative person.
Sure.
And now you look back and you're like, yeah, it takes, it's a different type of creativeness,
right.
but it is, you are making something.
Sure, right.
And building something from scratch and, from 0 to 1, as they say.
Yeah. Build it to win though. Make it so you'll win. in my 20s in Michigan, sometimes as a home builder, you can't pour concrete. It's just below zero and it won't set right. So sometimes I would take a job selling mobile homes over the wintertime for about 2 or 3 months because I know housing, you know. But that really built my sales skills. I got to know all the realtors in town, all the vacant lots that could take that type of home, you know, all of the different people that owned land, you know, the different, forget the excavation companies, and had to get to know all of the mobile home parks and who was given bonuses for putting in. There's always little things you need to know. And if you play it right, you know, you can make a heck of a business. And I sold more than anybody, all the rest of the salesmen combined because of that, because I wouldn't just watch people drive away. I would ask them for the sale. I would, you know, make sure I was trying to sell them what they wanted, not just what's going to pay me better, like all the rest of people were trying to push. No, what's best for them, you know? And if you really go into it that way, you can make a heck of a career, whether you're selling widgets or whatever the heck.
It's prioritizing the relationship.
Oh, exactly.
Over the transaction.
And what they need. I think you said that already, trying to figure out what they're going to need.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. That's the exciting part. I mean, that's when you're really building something for the long term.
Sure. Right.
I get really excited every time I collaborate, like something like this, or you know, even if I'm donating, I'm not even making any money. I'm donating, you know, lavender to the guild, or but of course, working with new hospitals. All of that is just so exciting.
Yeah,
you know,
especially if people are excited about it.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, yes.
And I bet you get a lot of that.
Yeah. You know, it never gets old.
I know, right? That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that. Oh, so where could somebody go about getting information on your product? Do you have a website that you sell on?
Yeah, we are on Lavender Creek Company. It's kind of a long domain, lavendercreekcompany.com. So all spelled out.
Yep.
We're on social media. I believe our Instagram handle is Lavender Creek Company. Our Facebook might be Lavender Creek Co. But yeah, we're pretty active on social media. Definitely check out our website.
Yeah.
And we have lots of, you know, if you want to order from us, we do free shipping, and, you know, we try to make it affordable for everyone. We know we don't just have really high pricing. We try to keep things, you know, affordable, you know, especially competing with, you know, Amazon and that type of online marketplace.
Yeah.
We're also doing farmers markets. So I'm in Aptos every Saturday morning.
Oh, okay.
We started with a lot of markets. Like, you know, you were talking about markets, and it was our first harvest. I had so much lavender, and I was like, okay, I got to figure out. So I started doing 5 markets per week. It was a lot.
Yeah.
And I met so many cool people.
Yeah.
And, you know, sometimes people are sharing ideas on products, or you're possibly meeting a new hospital customer. I did markets from San Jose to Soledad. So really all over the place.
All over.
And, so right now I'm just doing the market in Aptos at Cabrillo College on Saturday mornings. That's a real big one. It's if you like markets, that's definitely one to check out for Monterey Bay. And then in addition to that, we do have some retailers that there's a new gift store in Carmel Valley next to Baja Cantina called Stardust. She carries some of our products.
Oh, fantastic.
The Monterey Airport has some of our hand creams in the little gift store there.
Oh, cool.
And Chomp's gift shop as well. So we have some retailers that have our products as well.
A little gift shop right in the hospital.
The gift shops,
Oh, cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right. Perfect. Wow.
I think that's really it, kind of really where my focus is right now. We do hope we're going to try this. I think we're going to test out opening the lavender field up this year. Again, we're really far out there. We're about 40 minutes past the Carmel Village. It's really faster to go around and down the 101.
Sure.
So we're out there in Arroyo Seco, but that also makes it beautiful. I look at it as like this, almost like a retreat area. And so the issue is we'll have to put in porta potties. we don't have bathrooms yet.
Yeah.
So, but we're thinking about doing that. And we've had people reach out wanting to do yoga in the lavender or yoga and wine in the lavender, like different ideas.
Perfect.
We could host different events. You can do lavender picking. And so we might try that out this year.
Yeah,
and
right.
so definitely, follow us on social media if that's something you're interested in, because we'll have more updates. The lavender blooms in June. So if we open it up, we'll be opening it definitely by June 1st is when we would do that.
Yeah, right.
Probably by the 3rd or 4th week of June, we're going to start harvesting. So it's really those first 2 weeks of June are beautiful for picture taking. And we've had, someone's daughter was graduating from Salinas High and they wanted to come out and do a photo shoot. And we just weren't set up for it yet, but we want to accommodate those requests. And we've had some interest like that. So that'll be fun. And if we can't do it this year, we'll definitely do it next year.
Yeah.
That's something we're working towards.
Right. Somebody have to license to have a place like that to chase down.
Yeah.
What you can do and what you can't do.
Right. We've already worked with the county.
Have you? Oh, good.
Yeah. Kind of, they're always open. You can ask them questions and kind of figure that out. And,
what a place to have a wedding, though. I mean, when everything's in bloom and aromatic and, yoga retreat, great idea.
Yeah.
Right? Holy cow.
If we could put in like a small barn and give it like that rustic
There you
feel,
go, yeah.
I mean, it would be really cool.
Right.
And, way out there in South County, there's not so much to do. So I think it'll be an important community resource possibly.
Yeah, right.
At least having something extra to do.
Sure, right.
But those are all just ideas right now.
Yeah. But it's, they're kind of, even if it's a little camping spot or, whatever, it's on an active farm that's actually doing this. That's really interesting. That's pretty cool.
It would be cool. And Piney Creek is usually, sometimes it's a seasonal creek that sometimes dries up, but last year it was flowing the whole year. So it's got a really kind of tranquil vibe to it. From the lavender, you can hear the water flowing. So I think there's a lot of potential there for sure.
Yeah. Right. How cool. Man, I've learned a lot today about lavender and all the good stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, so glad you came in today.
Yes, thank you so much.
I had a great time.
Yeah, thank you for letting me speak and kind of talk about our story, and I really appreciate that.
Well, I like to talk about you, and I like to talk about where you grew up and what was your first car and all that kind of stuff. But today I think I'm just focused on what you're doing in business.
Thank you.
I'd like to have you back another time because you got a great story, an interesting dude, but I just don't want to cloudy it up with what you're doing with the lavender and everything else.
Thank you.
Cool?
I appreciate that. I mean,
I don't want to go off on tangents like normally I do, right?
No problem. It's after doing this and being so focused on it, sometimes it's all I can talk about.
Right. Yeah, we're just zeroing
but if you have
on
other
that.
questions, I'm happy to speak more.
Yeah, right on. Awesome. All right, my brother, thanks for coming in.
Yeah.
All right, guys, if you found any value to this, hit the subscribe and the like button. Helps with the algorithm. Love you guys. Have a good week. Talk to you next week. See you.